Alice was a young girl with bright blue eyes and long blonde hair. One sunny day, she was sitting under a tree with her sister. Alice was very curious and loved to explore. She saw a white rabbit with a pink nose and big eyes. The rabbit was wearing a blue coat and holding a pocket watch. He looked very worried and kept saying, "Oh dear, I am late." Alice decided to follow the rabbit. She ran after him and saw him jump into a big rabbit hole. Without thinking, Alice jumped in too. The rabbit hole was very deep, and Alice fell for a long time. She wondered if she would ever reach the bottom. Finally, she landed softly on a bed of leaves. Alice found herself in a strange place. It was full of strange, colorful plants and animals that could talk. She saw a bottle with a label that said, "Drink me." Alice took a sip and began to shrink. She became so small that she could fit through a little door. Behind the door was a beautiful garden. Alice walked through the garden and met many curious creatures. There was a grinning cat named Cheshire Cat, a Mad Hatter who loved tea parties, and a Queen of Hearts who always shouted, "Off with their heads." Alice had many adventures in this wonderland. She learned that being curious and brave could lead to exciting places. After a while, Alice found a way back home. She woke up under the tree and realized it was all a dream. But Alice never forgot her amazing journey. From then on, she always looked for new adventures and believed that even the impossible was possible.
Once upon a time, on a charming little farm nestled between rolling green hills, there lived a kind-hearted farmer named Old MacDonald. He was known far and wide for his exceptional love for animals and his endless enthusiasm for farming life. Every morning, Old MacDonald woke up at the crack of dawn, his cheerful whistling echoing across the fields as he wandered outside to greet his beloved animals. First, he would stop by the chicken coop. "Good morning, Clucky," he'd call out to his favorite hen. Clucky would respond with an enthusiastic cluck-cluck here and a cluck-cluck there. Old MacDonald would chuckle, delighted by the morning chorus. Next, he would stroll over to the big red barn where the cows resided. "How are you today, Bessie?" he'd ask his gentle cow, who always greeted him with a friendly moo-moo here and a moo-moo there. Bessie would flick her ears happily, munching on fresh hay. Then, Old MacDonald would tiptoe to the pigsty where a bunch of playful piglets squealed with joy. With their snouts covered in mud, they would oink-oink here and oink-oink there, all rushing to nuzzle Old MacDonald's hand. As he made his rounds, he visited the sheep pen, where the sheep would bleat their babas, and the ducks at the pond quacked with flappy wings, quack-quack here and quack-quack there. Every corner of the farm was alive with delightful sounds, all harmonizing in a jubilant farm song. Old MacDonald loved every moment spent on his farm, tending to each animal with care and joy. So, every day with a twinkle in his eye and a spring in his step, he would croon his favorite tune, telling the story of his noisy, happy farm to anyone willing to listen. And thus, the days on Old MacDonald's farm were filled with laughter, song, and love for the animals. Each dawn marked a new adventure, filled with opportunities to care for his merry menagerie and the enchanting melodies of farm life.
Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and towering trees, there lived an adventurous girl named Lily. She was 8 years old, with twinkling blue eyes and hair as golden as the summer sun. Lily loved exploring the woods behind her house, where she often imagined magical creatures hiding beneath the trees. One evening, as the sky began to blush with the colors of sunset, Lily set out on her usual walk. The air smelled sweet with pine, and the soft breeze whispered secrets only she could hear. But tonight felt different. The woods seemed more alive, more magical. As she wandered deeper, Lily noticed a soft glow shimmering through the trees. Curiosity bubbled inside her, and she followed the light until she reached a small clearing. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree with leaves that glittered like gold. Suddenly, the air around her filled with laughter, tiny, bell-like giggles. Startled, Lily looked around, and to her amazement, she saw tiny, winged creatures flitting through the air. They were fairies. Their wings sparkled with every color of the rainbow, and their dresses shimmered like stars. "Welcome, Lily," said a voice, as a fairy with lavender wings flew close. "I'm Ivy, and we've been waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" Lily asked, her heart racing with excitement. "Why?" "The enchanted forest needs your help," Ivy explained. "There's a magic crystal deep within the woods that keeps our forest alive and sparkling. But something terrible has happened. The crystal's light is fading, and we can't fix it without a brave human's help." Lily's eyes widened. "What can I do?" Ivy smiled. "You're kind, brave, and you have a pure heart, just what we need. The only way to restore the crystal's magic is to collect 3 enchanted items: the feather of a phoenix, the dewdrop of a moonflower, and the scale of a silver dragon. Will you help us?" Without hesitation, Lily nodded. She wasn't just on a simple walk anymore, she was on a magical quest. Ivy led Lily through a secret path only fairies knew, and soon they reached a grove where a majestic phoenix perched on a branch. Its fiery feathers glowed in the twilight. "Speak kindly to the phoenix, and it will offer you its feather," Ivy whispered. Lily approached the phoenix and bowed politely. "Great Phoenix, will you lend me one of your feathers to save the forest?" The phoenix looked into Lily's eyes, then gently plucked a shimmering feather and handed it to her. "May it light your way," it said in a deep, melodic voice. With the feather safely tucked away, Lily and Ivy continued their journey. Next, they arrived at a glistening pool where moonflowers bloomed beneath the stars. Lily carefully cupped her hands and collected a single glowing dewdrop. It sparkled like liquid moonlight. Finally, they reached the silver dragon's lair. The dragon was enormous, but its eyes were kind. "I know why you've come," it rumbled, and from its silvery scales, it offered one that shone like a mirror. "Use it wisely." With all 3 items in hand, Lily and Ivy rushed back to the clearing where the crystal sat, its light now barely a flicker. Ivy sprinkled the phoenix feather, the moonflower dewdrop, and the dragon scale over the crystal, and suddenly, a brilliant light burst forth. The entire forest lit up with magic, flowers bloomed, trees sparkled, and the fairies danced joyfully in the air. "You did it, Lily!" Ivy cheered. "The enchanted forest is saved, thanks to you." Lily smiled, feeling warmth in her heart. As the fairies twirled and sang around her, she knew she'd never forget this magical adventure. As the night deepened, Ivy and the fairies escorted Lily back to the edge of the forest. "Thank you," Ivy said. "You're always welcome in the enchanted forest." With one last wave, Lily returned home, her heart full of magic and wonder. She knew that even though the adventure was over for now, the magic of the forest, and the fairies, would always be with her. And that night, as she drifted off to sleep, she dreamt of glittering wings, glowing crystals, and the sparkling fairies of the enchanted forest.